We've got one shot to feel alive. We've only got one shot to feel alive. We've got one shot just to feel alive. We've got one shot. Yeah! We've got one shot, do you feel alive? Get in, get out, you know that we won't back down. To feel alive, waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot. Whoa. We've only got one shot. Whoa. We've got one shot to make it count. Waiting for the chance to show the world who we are. We've only got one shot.
Hello everyone and welcome to what is the most significant day in the Creator Series calendar. It is of course season finale day, and over the next 6 hours we are going to discover who our new champion will be, who will qualify for the playoffs and who's in danger of losing their spot in F1 for season number 7. Mirroring the real life calendar, the Jeddah Corniche circuit in Saudi Arabia is the venue for today's action, and while there may be some sort of title showdown taking place in the northwest of England this afternoon, our showdown in the Middle East will certainly take precedence today. We of course start with the F2 Championship, and returning of course from the break week last weekend, but events from 2 weeks ago very much still in the forefront of everybody's memory, as 2 wins for Hayden Gullis take a big chunk out of Rob's advantage at the summit of the Drivers' Championship, with that gap just 16 points going into the finale, with 35 still on offer. Couldn't be set up any better. In the virtual commentary box for today's action, to start off with the F2, it is myself, Tom, and it is Adam. Adam, about a month ago this championship was looking wrapped up with Rob. It was over 40 points clear, but in the last 3 events we have seen a 25-point swing in Hayden's favour, and of course both of them skipped a race, so it's actually a 25-point swing in 2 races.
Going to be a massively interesting Saudi showdown here. I'm really looking forward to, excited. F2 always produces some fantastic racing here in Saudi Arabia, and for sure it's going to be nothing short of action around this super fast street circuit. Of course, it is known for its long fast corners, and just how long the track is with this 27 corners, and for sure we're going to be expecting so much action all throughout this series. I think we're really going to be seeing some massive really huge possibilities of what these guys can do, especially up at the top end of the championship. They're going to be right on it the whole way.
Yeah, and of course we do have some permutations to go through as well, and we also will give you a little bit of a tale of the tape for our 2 championship leaders, and we will also cover the playoff potential as well, which isn't quite as exciting because that looks a little bit like a foregone conclusion. But at the summit it is Rob versus Hayden Gullis, and yeah, it's been a tale of 2 halves for Rob, hasn't it?
Really has. He had a really well start of the season. Knew he was fast off the 5 red lights at the beginning. China, and really put a stamp on his authority for the championship and had promotion on. But Hayden has really come back in the last of races, and I believe he's 58 points in the last 3 races, which is absolutely sublime. Like, how many times do you get somebody winning 3 races in the bounce, let alone in F2?
And it is quite the momentum swing, isn't it? 3 race wins in a row. Obviously the feature race victory in Portugal, where it got a little bit of help from one Zhou Guanyu. Don't know if you've heard of him before. And then back-to-back victories in the sprint and feature race 2 weeks ago in Bahrain. As for Rob, started out brilliantly. Out of the first 5 feature races, won 4 of them, and in the other one he was second. So the consistency was there. But since that round 5, he's only picked up 1 podium.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how these drivers really get along. As I said, that 1 podium will be, it'll be vital to get another one, especially during this showdown. Very much looking forward to seeing what these guys are all about. I think we're going to be seeing some real wheel-to-wheel racing between the pair of these guys. It's going to be absolutely thrilling and really just something to behold.
Should we talk about the track quickly as well? Obviously, we saw the real-life circus there yesterday and over the course of this week. It wasn't the most exciting race, it has to be said, but neither was the first week in Bahrain. But what are you expecting from this circuit?
Well, just having a think about that circuit, there's a hot opportunity to make a lunge down in towards turn number 1. But for sure, that is going to be a really good opportunity. And then what about that? What about that middle sector? Of course, like I said earlier, you're going to have to be playing around with the pedals, making sure you're keeping within the track limit. You very easily go off, and then you've got that long hairpin through that back section of the circuit. And my goodness, are we going to be seeing some high speed at about 170, 180 miles an hour in these Formula 2 cars? And you've got that section near to the end, around about 22, 23, around about there. You can find yourself in the wall where Lance Stroll went off in last night's race, so very much a possibility. And of course, you've got that last corner where we're going to be seeing a lot of DRS chicken, so really be prepared for some drivers completely backing off before going down that long stretch.
Yeah, the tactics are going to be pretty crucial for a lot of drivers. Obviously, we have seen Saudi Arabia before in the F1 calendar. We saw it in season number 2 and 3, and we did have a couple of our F2 drivers taking part in those races. Interestingly enough, we had in season 2, back on F1 22, we had Hayden and Matty D13 finishing in 9th and 8th and 9th for Hayden and Matty, and in season 3, which was a bit of a chaotic race, I think it has to be said. We had 2 retirements for Hayden and Devilnu, and then Punju coming home in 8th and 11th for G Watts. But we are going to get ready though for what is our 3-act finale. Act number 1, reverse grid sprint race. Act number 2 is our one-shot qualifying, and act number 3, the feature race. And by the end of all of it, we will know who will be taking that automatic promotion through to the F1 series.
Yeah, it's going to be massively interesting as everyone sees out their formation laps. RC having a bit of a disqualification. That's probably because he's stopped off somewhere, but those tyres will be getting very cold. So it's going to be Ghost Swish and Mikey Skill, the 2 Invicta Racing cars, going to be on that front row of the grid. So it's going to be really intriguing to see what that team can achieve. But Neil Gilligan and Devil Noob there in P3 and P4. I have commentated over Devil Noob before in another league, and he is mighty fast and could provide some really good action. He could be one of our winners in this sprint race today.
Absolutely, and there is something that we also need to mention as well. It's the driver in 15th, Matty D13. If we look at it mathematically, 34 points behind Rob. There is a chance, there is a very slim chance that Matty could take the championship this evening, but we would have to have some catastrophic events go on where Rob and Hayden fail to score in both races. Matty picks up fastest lap in both and wins both of them, so we can pretty much count Matty out of it for the championship at least, but is solidly consolidated inside the playoff positions. And yeah, that battle is sort of summed up as well, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's Matty is a massive outside chance, but never say never. But it's going to be like trying to climb Everest twice over, in all honesty, unless he can put it in a really good position for that feature race later on. He's got a quite a slim to nothing chance. There is your championship leader. That is Unstopped Rob, down in P17, sharing a row with Hayden Gillis. In fact, actually, Hayden's going to be a row ahead of him. But yeah, Rob is going to be keeping his eyes firmly on that Prema in front. They approach that final corner on this track and prepare their launch all the way down to that first corner.
Absolutely, and we'll give a quick mention as well as we come around that final corner to the two drivers currently filling the last places in the playoffs. That is Punju in 4th on 104 points, and then F1 Alex in 5th, 101. Hoodie Pete, the next driver on the list, in 6th at 72. So by the end of this sprint race, we could have our playoff drivers all but confirmed.
Yeah, definitely could see all that confirmed. Again, I do think that Hoodie Pete will definitely have to say about this before we actually take that checkered flag.
So, act number 1 of this afternoon's action, and we are getting ready to go with 5 red lights ahead of the drivers for the sprint race. This is the first chance for them to stake their claim for the championship. It is lights out, and away we go. Terrible start for Go Swish. Out in front, dropping a load of places in the Invicta car, and there's absolute chaos at the back. Who's been involved in that? We've got a virtual safety car straight away. Penalties for Carbon Shadow and Jess Gamer. I wonder if any of the championship contenders were caught up in that accident towards the back. We can see Rob down in 17th. I don't think the ART car has too much damage from what I can see at least, but virtual safety car straight away. What happened there?
I think it was just Go Swish. We saw he got a terrible start, and I think he just completely lit up the rear tyres. So I think that Invicta Virtuosi car that was called back in 2023 last year has just come across everybody. Everyone had to take avoiding action, but of course, Go Swish, there he is, down in a P14. So that's, I think, the culprit for the accident. He seemed to have got away unscathed here. Does the Alpine Academy Cape livery. So yeah, that was a very, very strange start there. But we're back now, green, underway here in Jeddah.
Yeah, and we've got some jostling for position as we go through the loop at the end of sector number 1. We've got a whole gaggle of cars battling towards the back. You can see 5 cars separated by about a second. I think Jess Gamer has a little bit of damage in the high-tech car, the Red Bull livery car. And it's holding up. Is that Go Swish again getting caught out? Yes, dropping back down into 17th. Just Carbon Shadow behind the Invicta car. We've got another yellow flag for that little side spin, but manages to keep it out of the barriers impressively enough. We've got a little battle in front of us as well. Punju and Rob are going to go side by side. This is not a traditional overtaking place. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? Rob locks up a little bit. They just give each other enough space with that very dangerous curb on the outside. Still side by side going down the straight. I think we've got Matt D13 trying to get involved as well. Could make it 3 wide on the run down into the final corner. And Rob's going to move over to the right-hand side as Punju goes defensive. Going down into the final corner. Who's going to be braver on the brakes this time? Going around the outside. A little bit of contact. It looked like there as Punju gets sideways. But Rob barges his way through around the outside and up into 14th.
Pretty chaotic start there. Punju was probably the culprit there. Big hit there. That's JD Devil Noob there in the ART. He's trying to go around the outside here. Daniel Gilligan there side by side towards turn number 4, I believe, and it's going to be the ART with the inside line, but Gilligan's not going to give that up and just squeezes his way through. A couple of end plates lost there on the Red Bull Academy Cape high-tech car, but unfortunately he has to just settle in behind. He's got Patterson there in the Van Amersfoort as he rides the curb there, skateboards his way over there, and can the Van Amersfoort just get himself into the mix there? No, he put his nose in, but unfortunately Patterson had to back out. There is Sanderson, get it all the way just in the back there, riding on board with the championship challenger. He's just having a look, seeing where he can go there, but a bit of a slide there from Sanderson. Looks to try and make something work here. Zach RC up into P6, batting with
Yeah, Patterson unable to capitalise on Daniel Gilligan being completely offline through the S's. That was not the optimal racing line. It was actually the Trident of Adam Sanderson that tried to have a go, swinging it around the outside, but wasn't able to get alongside. Hayden battling with Zach RC behind. Brilliant start from Hayden. I think that is Patterson clipping the wall on the inside there. We saw that's what Lance Stroll did in the race yesterday. Hayden behind them. That looked a little bit lazy. Is there going to be damage for the Prema car, I wonder? That's going to be potentially fatal for the championship contender. Yes, you can see that left front end plate's gone. They're still all queued up behind Patterson. Is Hayden going to send it up the inside? This would be brave. Surely there's going to be contact there on the inside. No, Hayden backs out of it. Going to leave himself vulnerable around the outside for Zach RC. Patterson still in front. And look behind them. That is Hoodie Pete, F1 Scott, and F1 Alex all coming to blows out of the final corner. And there's a massive crash there. That's Punju, whose wheel has fallen off. Hoodie Pete in the middle of the track. A lot of front wings gone. Virtual safety car called out once again as a lot of cars peeling off into the pits. Hoodie Pete picks up a penalty. That again was absolute chaos. The three of them just looked like they met in the middle at the apex, or the exit, sorry, of the final corner, and that caused carnage once again.
Yeah, it looks like F1 Scott has been given a stop-go penalty in all of that. But this is Zach RC. Meanwhile, we move away from that hectic accident. The safety car is now being deployed. Ghost Switch has been given a drive through here. And Zach RC, who was stuck up behind Adam Sanderson there in the Trident, they now have to back down here. And I just wonder if the pit stop is going to be the right call to go. Rob has entered the pit lane here, along with TK, along with F1 Alex, along with Hoodie P. So it's going to be an absolute scramble, and this could really change the face of the race. We won't have a lot of laps behind that safety car, and we get released from that safety car. It'll be very, very few laps for those fresh tyre runners. Make something up. So really keeping an eye on these front runners like Mikey Skill, like JD Devil Noob, like Gilligan, Patterson, Sanderson, Zach RC, Gillis as well. They can all do something to change up this race. And the main to be looking at here is probably Hayden, because he's got that front wing damage. He might not know, but his championship rival has been in the pit. And his sole purpose is just to be in front of Rob. He's got a 16-point deficit to cut down here, and this is going to be a deciding moment.
Yeah, going to be very interesting to see how that dynamic plays out. If Hayden has got a little bit used to driving the sprint races with half a front wing, currently running his 7th, will pick up 2 points compared to Rob's 0. But obviously still a long way to go. Out of the drivers that did pit, I think we've got a pretty even split of soft and medium tyres for those runners. We have another car coming into the box. Was that Daniel Gilligan? Yes, it was. In the high-tech car, there's going to be another one to come into the pits. But yeah, even split further down of soft and medium tyres. The top 10 all stayed out, but now Matty 13 and Daniel Gilligan into the box. We've got this nice little bit of respite, because it's been all action stuff. As I say that, F1 Scott, who was in the commentary box 2 weeks ago, picks up a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That is another one that's going to have to be served at some point in this race, or potentially as a time penalty later on. Who will benefit from this? I think Rob might jump a couple of places with those cars in the pits. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, it's not ideal to be getting that penalty there for F1 Scott, but there is Rob up into P9. So he's not in the points just yet. That is going to be going to Daniel Gilligan. He'll be getting that singular point in the sprint race, but just remember that he's going to be right up the rear end of all these point runners at this moment in time. Mikey ahead of JD Devil Noob, ahead of Patterson now, who's up into that 3rd place spot. He's going to be wanting to go for yet another podium like he did Portugal a couple of weeks ago. And it's going to be Sanderson ahead of Zach RC, with Hayden Gillis there in the Prema car. Ahead of Ghost Wish and Daniel Gilligan. That rounds off your point scorers with Rob and Matty D down in 9th and 10th. So at this moment in time, Matty D will officially be out of the drivers' title chat. We kind of knew it before the red lights went out. Like I said, it would have to climb Mount Everest. A little bit more difficult. I think it's kind of a game over. And I think that's where his mindset was going to be at the start of this race.
Yeah, totally agree with that. I think Matty can probably kiss goodbye to the automatic promotion spot with the crown and glory that goes with it. What is going to be fascinating to see in these early laps once the safety car comes in, Rob, like you said earlier, in 9th place, is on soft compound tyres. Hayden, obviously, with front wing damage and older mediums. Rob could put a big dent in Hayden's title challenges if he can get ahead of that Prema and outscore him, because, I mean, that could be curtains for Hayden if he fails to outscore Rob. Another car into the pits. Is that Daniel Gilligan again? Yes, it is. That is an interesting decision, maybe to put on a brand new set of soft tyres in that high-tech car, but does come into the box and will fall probably to the very back of the pack. We've got front wing damage actually there for the high-tech as well. Just I was looking in the pits, and another set of mediums going on.
A couple of cars into the pits lane. That is Gilligan and TK. So those guys have decided to just go on to fresh tyres. We're on lap 5 of 10 here of this sprint race here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for our Formula 2 F1 Creator Series, sponsored by EA Sports. Now seeing everyone under the safety car at this moment in time. Mikey, who has been leading from that pole position. You can join the conversation there at hashtag F1 Creator Series. Please get on the conversation. Would love to hear from what you've been saying. A lot of support has been coming around for this Create series, and it's been absolutely mega. So personally, I just want to say a massive thank you to everyone that's been involved. But this race is going to be really hotting up in the last couple of laps, and we should be going very, very soon. We just need to wait for that gap of F1 Scott, Jess Gamer, Carbon Shadow, Daniel Gilligan, and TK to catch up, and then we should be going racing very, very soon.
Absolutely, and of course, everybody in the chat that is watching live, get your predictions in as well. Get your top 3 predictions in. The top 7 have all stayed out on their medium compound tyres. Everybody else behind has got fresher tyres, whether they are softs or mediums. So yeah, get your top 3 predictions in the chat, and we'll see how accurate you guys are when we come to the end of this 10-lap sprint.
It's going to be interesting. What everyone's kind of predicting here. What's everyone's kind of thoughts? But for sure that Mikey has a very, very good chance. But he's up against a very, very fast JD Devil Noob, and I think that ART can cause a little bit of damage. We'll keep an eye on the safety car here, but it doesn't look like that safety car will be calling. Actually, will be coming in. My goodness me, that was a pretty it was a late call by Race Control. Now get these group going. So the tire warming commences. It's all about Mikey's skills to try and jump the start here. JD Devil Noob will be looking to try and make that move. We go racing, we go green here at Saudi Arabian. Already that's Patson having a look down the inside with 3 abreast in toward the first corner, and I think that's Gillis going up the inside. Look at everyone here. That is Rob right on the back of his championship lead, of his championship title rival here. This contact with his Sanderson. I think the Trident is going to go up the inside to try and make a move there, and he has managed to stick back through. So Rob will be a little bit frustrated here, but now trying to force it around the outside, but gets squeezed by Sanderson. And now he's got to defend here from Matty D because he's been put off a little bit by that Van Amersfoort. So he tried him. That's just in front of him. But look at this. He's trying to float it around the outside. Here cuts the inside. That's going to maybe come into contact. It's almost Bahrain 2.0.
Adam Sanderson, the loser there, loses that place to Rob Hayden. He was very aggressive on the restart, trying to force his way around the outside of everyone. Paid off in the end, getting up into 4th. But now Sanderson and Rob continuing to duel. Matty trying to get involved as well. Still looking good for Hayden as look at that terrible exit for Adam Sanderson and Matty C13 on the faster, fresher, soft compound tyres. He's going to try and swoop past. Is he? No, cut off, not giving a lot of space there on the inside. Is that going to potentially leave the MP Motorsport car of Zach RC, who also looking very slow in a straight line. Here comes F1 Alex charging through. Bit of contact behind them with the second Invicta car of Ghost Swish going into the back of Zach RC. Adam Sanderson, though, still under huge pressure. The 2 championship protagonists in front of the Trident have escaped a little bit. As wow, that was an interesting little jink to the inside. I wonder if the Trident tapped the barrier there.
Yeah, it may have been a little bit of a barrier tap. You don't want to be doing that many times. Of course, we've seen a couple of front wings already come off, mainly M plates here, but back down the straight we go, and it's going to be massive slip trim here. Ghost Switch having a look here, maybe to the inside, but that's going to be Zach RC having a look down that inside, but around the outside goes Switch there, up into P9, not quite in the points just yet. Oh, we've had a bit of an error. That's Zach RC going round. It is. The MP Motorsport has gone round, front wing damage, and I think the confidence loss has really just affected him today.
Crucial move further forward, though. Rob getting ahead of Hayden. It wasn't the cleanest of passes, but the ART car manages to force his way through up into 4th place. Will set his sights now on Patterson and potentially winning this sprint race with 3 and a bit laps to go. Hayden's championship challenge is falling by the wayside because you can see he doesn't have the pace to keep up with the cars in front. It's looking very, very rosy for Rob at this stage.
It really, really is. That Invicta car is really in the groove here, as we now have the look at Patterson here. The Yorkshire man will have to start defending his position from the Frenchman from Amiens. So here comes the ART, just with the Citroen now. Quite with the DRS, is it going to be enabled? It is. The flap in the sorry, no, my mistake. The flap is still closed here, but to the inside goes Rob, but he has to back in. Just there, just tucked back in, and that is going to be JD Devil Noob off the course there. Hits the wall now, and we're going to be seeing that ART start to tumble down the field. There's contact between the Yorkshireman and the Frenchman, And now will Rob try and fit himself through the middle? There's going to be no space. He has to back off there because that is going to be that is probably going to be the best option. Or is he going to try at the inside? There he goes. That's a double move. That is incredible there from Unstopped Rob.
Oh no!
Contact in the bag. Oh,
Hayden's involved.
Gillens is involved, and that is going to spell disaster.
I don't think there's a lot of front wings being thrown all over the racetrack. Hayden has managed to somehow get away scot-free, but he's lost even more of his front wing. This could be championship over as F1 Scott picks up a penalty for speeding in the pits. Just not enough room for the two drivers that were overtaken by Rob into the final corner to negotiate it. Devil Noob down into last place. F1 Scott retiring in the pits after picking up that penalty. We've got 3 laps to go. Rob will now be thinking about winning this race. Everyone's fallen by the wayside behind Matty D13, the car in the final place on the sprint podium. And then it's Patterson, and then a very, very wounded Hayden in that Prema, struggling to hold on. You can see really he's under huge pressure going through the S. He's going to lose 1 place to Adam Sanderson. Potentially his teammate Hoodie Pete's going to try and swing it around the outside as well. This will be brave contact between the two Premas. Hoodie Pete into the back of Hayden Gullis as Sanderson flies through up the inside. Hoodie Pete off the road behind. Duncan will be next to try and get past the A-Link Championship contender. Rob's already closed right up to the back of the Invicta car in the lead, by the way, with a couple of laps to go. And yeah, I think this could be our championship decided after just a third of our racing action this evening as Hayden clouts the barrier again and has lost even more front wing.
Yeah, I don't think Pete knew what he knew that his teammate had front wing damage around the outside. Goes Unstopped Rob. The DRS will be available to that Alpine Cape car, and through goes Rob here up into the lead of the race, and that is just sublime. Picked his moment, picked it nicely, and threw up the inside. I think he's defending here from Mikey because Mikey is now going to get DRS. They powered their way past that DRS detection point, and Mikey will have a look here trying to overtake the car as Matty D now with the first lap here. Is Mikey going to go for the inside? No, he decides to back off here and choose to just sit in behind.
It looks all but over for Hayden, down in 6th at the moment. He's creating quite a bottleneck further back as there's contact between TK and Duncan. F1 Alex has retired in the pits. That is the 3rd driver that will not see the checkered flag. Hoodie Pete trying to get involved with Duncan as well. That'll be a brave place to overtake the Prema. In fact, falls off the road and is going to be under pressure from Duncan as he comes back on. Potentially Daniel Gilligan as well in that second Red Bull liveried high-tech car as the Road and Carlink gets through. And you can see Hayden in front. You've got to feel sorry for him, struggling to keep the car on the road. So slow through the first sector S's. Down into 7th. This could be outside of the points very, very quickly for Hayden in the Prema. Are we going to have deja vu on the previous, as we had on the previous lap? No, Hoodie Pete doesn't drive into the back of his teammate this time. This is the battle for 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th at the moment. Around the outside we go with Duncan in the Carlin. And I think that's going to be Hayden relegated down to 8th. He's getting very, very close to falling out of these points-paying positions. And it just seems like a matter of time before he does.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really difficult there for Hayden to now try and make something up. He's got his teammate in behind, which could relegate him. But also there, a very feisty Daniel Gilligan is looking to maybe overtake both the Italian manufacturer cars. And their way into that very, very difficult left-hander. And already there, you can see how much that front wing is affecting the championship protagonist, but it's almost becoming a reality that it's almost over. It will take a lot to maybe do something about it. He's going to have a look here down the inside of Duncan and go for it. He's got nothing to lose here. Really just attacking down the inside of that Road and Carlin car. And now in the slipstream, he's going to just try and take center. Any point is going to be vital here.
He's hindering his teammate there as well. Hoodie Pete, there was a very small chance that he could slide into the playoffs. Hoodie Pete, both Premas on the move. There's contact. The Premas, for the 2nd time this race, go into each other. Look at all 4 of them gobbled up going through the first couple of corners. Hayden somehow comes out on top, but he's going to have to race Daniel Gilligan down into this very tricky left-hander. Is he going to brave it on the brakes around the outside? Both of them have got significant front wing damage. Clatters over the curb. This could be it as he slides with a little bit of contact on the right rear as Hayden falls back down into 8th place. Hoodie Pete still 9th ahead of Duncan. Carbon Shadow has now caught this big train of cars. Out in front, though, we've got to give a mention to Rob. Just 0.3 of a second ahead of Match D13. Hayden ghosted there very briefly. Is this going to be Hoodie Pete trying to go around the outside once again? He's got to be careful of Duncan getting involved as well. Zach RC picks up a penalty down in 13th place. Can Hoodie Pete swing it around the outside? He's got so much more grip, you would imagine, with significantly more front downforce, but just can't get ahead of his teammate. Hayden's a little bit like a moving roadblock, as there was a bit of a jink there from Duncan, and it caught Carbon Shadow a little bit short.
he's playing the rear jackman role. I think he's sacrificing his playoff chances to defend his his teammate who's going for the championship. I do wonder if that is a possibility. But back with Matty D, he could do something. He could decide this is a championship here because Rob is right there in front of him. And on the final corner, it's going to be Rob to take victory here across the timing line. And what a victory for Unstop Rob. And that is going to be crucial for the championship here. 8 points go in the favor of the ART. And we look back now. That is Duncan being squeezed out there by Hoodie P. And with Carbon Shadows squeezing through, Hayden Gillis finishing PA and just about hangs on to his championship challenge. But that is going to be by an absolute thread.
Wow. Very, very contrasting fortunes for our two championship protagonists. Rob, brilliant drive to get through all of the chaos that ensued throughout that race to win. Only just a quarter of a second between himself and Matty D over the line. It does, of course, rule Matty out of the championship fight, which we knew was going to happen before the race even started. Hayden limps over the line in 8th place and picks up a point for his troubles. But if we do a little bit of maths, the gap that was 16 points going into the sprint has now opened up quite a lot, and it's going to be 23 with that 7-point advantage for Rob, and that is probably game over.
My goodness, what a crazy race we have had here in Jeddah, and there you can see the scenes there. Unstopped Rob is almost unstoppable here. He's now opened that gap up to 23 points, and that is going to be absolutely massive. That's really put Hayden in a place where he knows he's going to have to go hell for leather for this race. There is your final results. Rob there in P1 ahead of Matty D, ahead of Mikey Skills there. That is your top 3 with Patterson in P4. That's a very good achievement for both. For the Yorkshireman, followed by TK and Adam Sanderson, with Daniel Gilligan and Hayden Gillis rounding out those points paying positions. Hoodie Pete there and Carbon Shadow rounding out that top 10. My goodness, what a thrilling race we had.
Carnage ensued throughout the entirety of it. It was hugely exciting to watch, but it has made the championship fight a little bit less interesting going into the final couple of sessions so far. Obviously, 23 points, like you said. It's win or bust now for Hayden. He has to win the race and hope that Rob has a bit of a catastrophe and finishes outside of those points-paying positions. Otherwise, it will be the Frenchman who will be crowned the F2 Series champion and take that promotion. It is shaping up nicely if you are an Unstopped Rob fan, and if you're a Hayden Gillis fan, I think you're going to have to be relying on some playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be up for grabs here, but it's going to be very, very difficult. I think we'll still see something, maybe a little bit of surprise going into that final race. I do expect maybe something to happen, especially with the strategy, and the likelihood of a safety car is pretty high around here. We've already seen how many virtual safety cars we got, and of course that one singular safety car we had in that sprint race. And about a whole feature race where everyone is going all guns blazing. Of course, Hoodie Pete now, after that non-finish, is going to be out of the playoff run, so it will be playoffs for F1 Alex and Punji, who unfortunately both went out of the race, but they're going to be happy that they know this information now. All eyes now on that championship fight. I think there's going to be some massively contrasting race, and we should be getting into that one-shot qualifying very, very soon. That is going to be one to keep an eye out for.
Absolutely, it could be the most important session of the season so far. If Rob can just bring this one home, he knows he's in a fantastic position to take this title for the ART team. Just has to be sensible. We saw it a little bit right at the end of that sprint race with the contact that we saw just a few laps towards before the end of the race. He backed out of it, was thinking about the long game. That inadvertently put him in a little bit of a tricky spot when Devil New clattered into the barrier, lost some front wing, and then they sort of all converged on each other into the final corner. Lucky to escape the incident that soon followed. But yeah, Rob's in a great place, and Hayden's going to be under huge pressure just to try and get something from this feature race and end the season on a high.
Yeah, I think it's that's going to be the main objective for everyone. Just end the season out, finish the race, and have a really good end to season 5. I think with Rob, he's just going to want to bring it home for that one-shot qualifying lap. I think he's just going to have to just try and make that lap count. If he doesn't want to be hitting any walls and then putting himself right at the back, that would be very, very costly. So I think the only thing you can really do is just let his rival just push along the whole entire way, try and go for that pole position, while he just brings around home for the lap and just puts himself in a decent position. He knows that he's got good pace, and I think he can really utilize that when we get to the 5 red lights.
Well, he doesn't even need a decent position, does he? He just needs to pick up a couple of points, and that's, you know, if Hayden wins the race, of course. So obviously looking very, very good. Like you said as well, playoffs are all sorted. Punja and F1 Axe, their positions are finally confirmed. So we know the 4 drivers, well, not much, the 4 drivers that will be battling it out in the playoffs, and we'll find out later in the F1, of course, what happens with those guys that will be facing a little bit of a relegation scrap. With that, the carnage we saw off the start, do you think we'll see a repeat of that? We could have predicted it because Saudi has got a bit of a history for some chaotic races. Obviously, on the F1 game as well, we've seen it. And we've seen it in Creator Series F1 season before as well. Can we expect something similar in the future race?
It will be interesting, especially like that start you said, where may see something, but I think everyone is relatively good at keeping it clean. There's definitely going to be some sort of awareness. You're going to want to get to the end. It's a marathon, not a sprint, so don't go slamming into a wall on the first couple of corners. I think that's going to be the main aim for everyone.
Absolutely, and of course a lot of the drivers will have got pretty used to driving with half a front wing in that sprint race, so maybe maybe they don't think it's quite as bad losing that little bit of front downforce. Yeah,
I think they're going to just try and limp it home to the end if something does happen, or need that stop if they really need to. They'll make that stop, especially when you saw that first safety car. I do think it was interesting the dynamics in there, how Hayden thought, no, I'm not going to go into the pits, I'm going to try and get the points, and look how much that cost him.
Yeah, turned out to be the wrong decision, but if you take a gamble, hindsight's a great thing. You could look like a hero, or you could look like a villain, and it certainly ended that way for Hayden. Didn't work out, but of course he's not out of it. I know I said that the playoff drivers were decided. Mathematically, he is not out of it. There is still a possibility if some serious antics go on during the race. But yeah, 23 points, it's almost insurmountable. But yeah, I think he'll be giving it his all.
Oh yeah, that's all you have to do as a racing driver. You have to just go out there on the best you can, the fastest lap if possible, and if things don't go in your favor, then kind of just take it on the chin, which are great drivers that have done that before. They know how to kind of take a loss on the chin. And I think Hayden's going to be one of those that kind of knows what the kind of scenario is going into that final race. And I'm sure that one-shot qualifying will be coming on your screens very, very soon.
Let's talk a little bit more about some of the drivers outside of that championship fight. We've got to talk about the 2 drivers, though. Brilliant result with 5th and 6th. TK has only raced for just under half the season, but he's been incredibly consistent, racking up points. If he races full-time next season in the F2, he's going to be a serious contender for at least the playoff places, and potentially to go straight up.
Definitely, those drivers had a really, really good kind of run there. TK was pretty quick. He had a really good result there, making himself apparent in the points, and I think he's going to be hopefully we'll see him racing in F2 a little bit more. I think he's got a little bit to learn. He did a lot of practice about an hour before, so you'll be quite in tune. But going back to Adam Sanderson, yeah, he's a great character to have in the F1 Creator Series, and someone we really love to see him. But he's on for some really good results. I think he's quite high up in the mid pack of the Drivers' Championship. I wouldn't say top 15. I'm just having a look at my Excel spreadsheet on the side there, but a little bit wrong on the numbers, so I need to kind of recalculate that in my head.
Yeah, and he always gets stuck into his battles as well. It's really good to watch Adam Sanderson race. Obviously, he was hugely unlucky a couple of weeks ago with that disqualification under the safety car. Was, of course, a really decent haul of points in that race as well. But yeah, picking up a nice handful in the sprint. We are, though, very close to the second act of our finale. It is one-shot qualifying, potentially the most interesting one-shot qualifying session of the season, because I think this could be the track where we see the most invalidated lap times.
Yeah, definitely. I can see turn one being, turn two kind of being being cut. There's a couple of corners where you can go wide, especially that corner in the first section where you can have the ability to ride the curb. We saw that. I think it was a pass in the early stages of the race, so you do not want to be doing that whatsoever. Of course, you got that final section, like I said, going underneath the bridge through the left, through the right, and of course before that DRS zone. That's going to be very, very difficult to try and negotiate in a qualifying lap, especially when you're going full at it. You've got no fear in this lap. Got to absolutely go for it. That's going to be a section to try and get everyone out.
Absolutely, and because these cars are that much lazier than the F1 cars, that a lot of these drivers before this series would have been used to driving, especially around a track like this, which is all flow, all rhythm. When you get it right, it's absolutely beautiful. If you just miss that apex by a tiny bit, you're just going to understeer, and you're either going to ruin your lap by going slowly off the circuit, or you're going to get it invalidated and you're going to be at the back. So it'll be very interesting to see if any big names do fall by the wayside and then find themselves out of position, because we've seen it a couple of times this season, but it's not been too regular. This could be the circuit where someone will come a cropper.
Definitely, it will be interesting to see if the big names can really keep themselves contempt and not go over that limit. It'll be a different story for different drivers. For some that want to just make sure they're doing well, keeping themselves solidated in F2, or some driver that really need to go for it, i.e. Hayden, who's trying to make something happen. But if his mindset is on the playoffs, then that is going to be completely fair.
Should we get some predictions in? Let's predict. Who do you think is going to be on pole, and then maybe we can ride with that driver to see if we give him the old commentator's curse.
It'll be quite interesting, I think, because it's going to be one of those drivers up at the top end. I think I'm going to throw a little bit of a shout here, and I'm going to go JD Devilnew. If he can get that lap right here, I think that he can definitely maybe put it on pole. And I want to see if TW, if you're thinking along those lines, or are you going to say one of those top two in the championship? Maybe one of the playoff drivers.
I'm a big fan of that shout. I think we've seen from JD that some of the performances, especially in the sprint race, have been really strong. Won one of the sprint races earlier in the season. I think it was Austria. Drove really well in that. So definitely a driver that should be challenging towards the sharp end. Hopefully we haven't put the mockers on old JD Devil Noob now. But yeah, we'll have a look to see how they do.
Definitely, I think it's going to be a really, really interesting lap here around Jeddah, as we said. Very fast, very flowing, but those F2 cars do feel a little bit sluggish here. Depends on what your driving style is like, but you definitely feel it in the understeer of these cars. We're about to head into that one-shot qualifying here, and let's see a lap here around the Jeddah Corniche circuit with Mr. JD Devilnew. Take it away, T-Dub.
Well, got to try and get on board first. Coming down into this very tricky first couple of corners, the switchback corners, if you like. And you can see already at the side, very difficult to keep up with everything because of how much it flip-flops from side to side, wobbling away at the moment. Unfortunately, we seem to have cursed JD a little bit, suffering a little bit in that first sector, just outside the top 10 or just inside. Now, very hard to try and get on board, of course, running in ninth through this beautiful section of corners, I have to say, unless you get your car Tony Hawked on the curbs on the outside, because that can really drag you offline and potentially suck you into the barriers. We've lost Zach RC already. I wonder if that was a little bit of a whoopsie around the F1 Scott, currently leading the way, someone that I potentially didn't earmark as being one of those challengers for pole position, but very nice indeed. Nice little run there through the loop turn. I can't remember what turn it is, there's so many. from JD Devilnude as we come up through the middle sector now. This is another really beautiful sequence of corners. You've just got to be totally committed as he hits the barrier on the exit there. That is going to cost him a little bit of time. Currently residing just inside that top 10 as we come up towards the final sector. DRS wing flap open. This is where we saw Lance Stroll crash in the F1 race yesterday evening, and we saw a couple of drivers clip that inside wall. A little bit conservative maybe from the ART driver, but does pick up another place ahead of TK there. Everything's sort of evened itself out, so we can look at what positions we are going to be looking at. JD looks like, unless the final corner is a little bit disastrous, that is going to be inside the top 10. So thankfully we haven't cursed the ART driver too much. Round we go, usually a third gear corner, and manages to keep it out of the wall nicely. Doesn't do a Max Verstappen from 2021 or even an Oscar Piastri from 2024. Up to the line, Rob takes provisional pole, and it is Devilnude over the line in position number 8. Pretty neat and tidy lap.
It was a pretty good lap, but I think there was a couple of things that maybe cost him. He's still settling into the F2 cars, and that is a really good spot there. But that is going to be your grid for the feature race. It's going to be Rob and Hayden Gillis sharing the front row. 0.4 of a second. The Frenchman is on an absolute flyer. Then it comes Scotsman of F1 Scott alongside F1 Alex. That Trident up there once again, ahead of Matty D with Ghost Swish and JD Devilnude there on the 4th row of the grid. TK will be starting alongside Duncan on the 5th row of the grid. Another Trident that's doing superbly well. Patterson, followed by Mikey Skills, with Daniel Gilligan there in P13. Struggled a little bit there, 1.9 seconds off the pace. And in 14 with Jess Gamer, Carbon Shadow, Zach RC, who didn't make a lap, and Punju, who got disqualified all the way down in last place. But what an insane qualifying session we've had here. So really, really looking forward to this one, T-Dub. It's going to be a really, really interesting, especially off the start there. You've got 2 roads which are going to be absolutely going together towards turn number 1 and turn number 2.
Certainly, and we predicted it beforehand. One of the big names was caught out. It's been a disastrous day so far for Punji. Retired very early on in the sprint race and disqualified for corner cutting in the one-shot qualifying session. So that will be 18th and last place for the Downs driver. Thankfully, he's already consolidated in those playoff places. So it's not too much of a catastrophe, but yeah, getting ready to go. What strategy do you think we'll see? Because we've seen, well, initially in the season, people were favouring the soft and medium, and then people were just starting to suss out that maybe the medium soft, which was pioneered by the likes of Rob and Max D13, is the favourable way to go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see where strategy kind of lies. It's all going to be maybe down to a safety car that can definitely put an intervention in the race. But if I was a racing driver on that grid right now, I would probably want to be going on that medium to soft tyre strategy. In all honesty, that kind of mix would should be useful. Getting the medium tyres done and out the way, going long on that tyre, and then going on for a soft tyre strategy to then go and push the absolute max.
Well, the formation lap has kicked off, and we can give everybody an answer as to what strategies the drivers are running. And it's an interesting mix, but the majority of drivers, as we can see with a couple of them coming through the first sector here, have favoured the mediums. Only a handful on the softs. Probably most significantly, it is Matty D13 in 6th place on those soft tyres, and TK in 9th on the soft tyres as well. We've got Patterson, Jess Gamer, Zach RC and Punju towards the back of the pack, also on the red stripe tyres. So watch out for those guys off the start. They could be the big movers on the opening couple of laps.
So the soft tyres will be in there just to try and get them through. That's their main aim. So Matty D, who we just saw there in that road in Carlin, on those soft compound tyre, he's going to try and put his way up the field there. I think that's going to be his main aim, to just try and make a podium place there. But this is going to be the main conversation. They had a great photo opportunity. Rob and Hayden Gillis, and what an absolute showdown we're going to have side by side through that middle section on this formation lap. It's like they're trying it. It's like they're trying to say, hey, get a photo for this. And I'm sure a wonderful poster man, Nick, is going to make something happen there. But absolutely fantastic, and very much something that we need just before the race.
Absolutely. This is our title showdown. We may already know what the answer is going to be, but I'm sure that won't take anything away from the excitement of the 14-lap race that is to come. And I think the likes of F1 Scott, F1 Alex, Adam Sanderson, potentially even Matty D13 if those soft tyres work out nicely off the start, will have something to say about trying to mix it up with these two title protagonists out in front. But yeah, I think we could be in for a fascinating finale, and hopefully it is a good microcosm of the season, because I have to say it has been extremely, extremely interesting to watch.
Yeah, F1 Creator Series is always one of those series that you just absolutely love watching. It's always nice to just sit back, lay back, and watch your favorite creators battle it out on a racetrack for 10 weeks in a row. And of course, for the final time, we will be going racing as the drivers start to form up and start to going into that mode of just focusing and shutting out everything around them. We'll then just be focusing on that 220-meter run down towards the first corner. A couple of disqualifications for not being in the box properly. So this is now all about what is that first corner going to be holding for us. 15 laps ahead of us for the Saudi showdown. Rob on the front row here alongside title protagonist Hayden Gillis on that left-hand side. The 5 red lights will be on very, very soon. Clutches in. Build the revs. Watch for the lights. Season 5 of F2 Creator Series is underway here. Decent start there off the line from the front row here in towards turn number 1. It looks like it's going to be Rob from Hayden. From F1 Scott there. A bit of a lock up there from JD Devil Noob. A little bit of contact in behind. But it looks like everyone has managed to make it out of that first couple of sections very, very cleanly so far. And on towards this little section of here. Now we start getting into the flowing, seeking the corners. Matty now going up to P5. He's on the back here of F1 Alex there in the Van Amersfoort car. They turn their way through the right-hander here and on toward the left. Now just exiting out of here. Can he get the run? He can get the run here on the Van Amersfoort side by side on towards that hairpin there of the turn number 13. He's going to look here at the inside, and that's a sensational move there, Garland. And now he's going to be trying to catch Scott out there. The Scotsman is now going right up to the wall there and feeling very, very confident in these early stages. Cold tyres so far, but they'll very, very quickly warm up, especially those soft compound tyres, and already going for that maneuver.
Yeah, using the advantage of the soft tyres off the line, almost pushing F1 Scott through this middle set. F1 Alex drops another place behind Adam Sanderson. The Trident and the Ronin Carnic are very lucky they didn't pick up damage after that little bit of a tete-a-tete going through turns 1 and 2. I think Hayden, we just caught the back of it there, may have been off the road, but this is the battle we've got to focus on. Matty D13 trying to get up into the podium place. We've got a yellow flag further back. I think that is Duncan leaving the session, and Ghostwish has retired, and we have got a safety car on the opening lap, and I think that is what happened? Well, I think it's the two Invicta cars. Yes, it is. We can see penalties there. Zach RC picks one up as well. The two Invicta cars have very much come up proper. That is a big, big crash as Daniel Gilligan leads the session as well. A couple of disconnects, but yeah, two Invicta cars coming to blows on the opening lap. And yeah, that is not ideal for those guys at all.
No, not ideal whatsoever. Those guys really had a good first race there in the sprint race, but it's all come crashing down in this feature race, and I'm sure that they will be head in hands. But Mikey's going to come into the pit. So is Zach Garcia. So I think both those guys have come to collide here. But it's Rob ahead of Hayden, ahead of Scott, ahead of Matty G. Sanderson is up there with TK, 5th and 7th for those two as well. Like we said, those guys are going to be really ones to keep an eye on. They are so incredible through this opening a couple of laps. But of course, it's all about trying to keep that all race along that beautiful color scheme with the blue, the red, and the white of the Czech nation. Running in a really good place there. And of course, you got the two Van Amersfoort separating them as well, with F1 Alex there in 6th and Patterson up there in P8. So definitely keep an eye on both Tridents and Amersfoort, because they could definitely do something. And of course, the point scoring positions now move down to the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. The big movers on that opening lap, as you would probably expect, the soft tyre runners. It is actually Punju. You can see in 11th place after starting 18th. A big 7 places made. Big opening lap for the Dams driver. Other movers, TK up a couple along with Matty D13. Patterson up 3 along with Daniel Gilligan, who, as we saw, just rejoining into the session. Hoodie Pete and Carbon Shadow also picking up a couple of places each. F1 Alex down 2 and Duncan down 3. And then obviously the Invicta cars, the big losers on the opening lap.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what a couple of them are doing. Looking down below that top 10, Punju up into 11. So really good stuff from him. Already confirmed into that playoffs. We confirmed that quite a while ago. Is they're just backing each other up massively in that final corner, almost going into the back of each other. The Constantina effect really coming alive there. But as I was saying there, Hoodie Pete down in P12 there. I think Carbon Shadow could definitely do something. I definitely had quite high hopes for Carbon. It doesn't seem like he's not had the best race so far. Let's admit he's not been up there challenging as much as I'd like to see, but for sure that MP is going to be hopefully in the mix, and we'll see Carbon Shadow back for maybe a full time of F2 in season number 6. I think that'll be really nice to see.
Yeah, and not a good start for both MP Motorsport cars, you have to say, because Zach RC was the other driver involved with the Invicta cars who tripped over each other in the final sector. The safety car should be in this lap, providing that the two drivers towards the back of the field catch the snake. And we're going to have to wait and see how Hayden approaches this. Did very well not to lose any places off the line. Rob got a really, really good start. Had Hayden completely covered down into turn 1. Hayden was probably looking in his mirrors a little bit more. And yeah, he's going to have to be pretty feisty on this restart if he's going to try and get ahead of the ART and give himself, well, the only opportunity to win the championship, which is to win the race.
Yeah, and then he has to hope that Rob has an absolute disaster class. So that is going to be massively, massively interesting. So it's going to be one to keep an eye on. We're currently on lap 3 of 14 here of this Saudi showdown. See there, the two championship contenders, P1 and P2. It looks like the safety car could be coming in this time around. They head their way through the sweeping corners. Of course, there's so many stories and positions up for debate, so many stories to unfold, and we're going to be seeing that in a couple of moments' time. But I think it's going to be very, very interesting, especially below that top 4 of Sanderson, Alex, TK, Patterson, JD Devil New. They're going to be very much fighting it out hugely.
That, though, at the top of the screen was the message we wanted to see. Safety car in this lap, and for the second time this race, we are going to get going once again with Rob seriously backing the pack up into the final corner. Going to take no chances. It'll be interesting to see how late he decides to bolt coming out of the final corner. Everybody was caught back of the snake. It is now the time for the ART driver to pick his moment to perfection, to try and catch Hayden and the rest unawares and bolt out in front. Where's he going to go? Coming up to the line now, and he goes just as he crosses the second DRS line there, and we are underway once again to start lap number 4. A decent little restart for Rob, giving Hayden a little bit of a buffer behind, and we've got a little bit of jostling for position further back. As a little look down the inside with that for TK on the Van Amersfoort car of F1 Alex, trying to use those soft tyres that will still be pretty good, but there is a little bit of damage there for the Trident driver. Not sure if that was picked up earlier in the race, or that little bit of bumping and barging that went on a couple of corners ago. F1 Alex close to the back of Adam Sanderson, but we are, as we were at the moment, Punju getting another place. Brilliant start, has to be said, for the Down driver, up into the top 10 now at the expense of Daniel Gilligan.
Yeah, definitely. He's massively, massively good at battling here. So far, everyone is making it through cleanly here. F1 Alex there having a little bit of a tussle with the two riding cars. At the moment, he's just not being able to hang on to the back here of Adam Sanderson. That is JD Delnu going a little bit slowly. Around the outside goes Punju. So the drivers have started right at the back of the field. Now find themselves down in P9, up into P9, I should say. And the Dams driver is now going to start going at those 4 cars, the 2 Tridents, the 2 Van Amersfoorts. So he is massively on the pace on those soft compound tyres. Lovely helicopter camera shot there.
Continuing to charge through the field. Further forward, though, Rob has absolutely bolted out in front. 1.3 seconds. Matty D13 actually managed to get past F1 Scott down in turn number 13. Is now all over the back of the Prema of Hayden Gullis, and I think it's probably going to make a move for second place. Yes, through goes Matty D13 as we jump on board with the Prema car up into second place. Hayden has lost a lot of time. Doesn't have the pace at the moment. Rob cruising way out in front. Further back, F1 Scott. It could be 2 places lost in 1 lap. Through goes Adam Sanderson in the Trident up into 4th place. Will there be a retaliation retaliation, though, down the main straight and into turns number 1 and 2. F1 Alex very much involved as well, saying, I'll have a piece of this battle. As well in the Van Alsort car. Will he switch to the inside to make it 3 wide? No. Thinks better of it. And on the inside line, Adam Sanderson should defend from that. The Constantine are up behind, though. I think F1 Scott looking for the switchback. Caught F1 Alex out a little bit. And now the Dams car and the Van Alsort are going to go side by side. This is not the place where you want to be side by side. We saw it in the main race yesterday with Alex Albon and Kevin Magnussen. But they managed to keep it out of the wall this time, and through goes F1 Scott, holding on to 5th place. TK now all over the back of the Van Amersfoort of F1 Alex.
Yeah, really good stuff there. Sanderson is trying to sneak up the inside of F1 Scott and managed to do that really, really well there. So the Trident putting himself up into a really good position, and I believe that might be Sanderson's best finish if he can stay in that position of his F2 career so far. He's been improving race after race after race. You can really tell that in the more you keep an eye on that on the Trident. Sure that he's really going for it here, and I think he might be up into a really good spot, and he's trying to pull away here from F1 Scott here. Meanwhile, F1 Alex is just in the midst of this absolute scrap and a half. The Scotsman of F1 Scott is going to be really defending here, and into this into this penultimate section here, he's going to be really just kind of keep it nice and flat there, but a little bit of a wiggle there from the rear of that Dams car, and F1 Alex is going to be all over the Dams car, but I think it may be a game of DRS chicken might be coming into play now here. T-Dub.
Well, the other Van Alsort car has certainly just been overtaken. Look at TK trying to force that Trident car along the inside of the Van Amersfoort. A little bit of contact. I think Hayden Gullis is coming into the pits, though, further forward. A lot of cars diving in. Yes, F1 Scott in as well. These medium tyres seem to be absolutely appalling for a lot of drivers. Speeding in the pits for F1 Scott. That is a penalty picked up. These guys getting promoted now to 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th with Punju at the back of this queue, and Devil Noob actually in 7th there as well. That is very interesting to come in. I don't think they had any damage, but Hayden, I was really concerned by his pace because he was very, very slow. And dropped behind Matty 13, was being clawed in by Adam Sanderson as well, and now decides he's going to put those soft tyres on. Interesting stuff there. TK in the second Trident has got a lot of front wing damage as well. I think he might have clouted the barrier when we saw that squabble between F1 Alex and Adam Sanderson.
Yeah, it was going to be, I think, a little bit of a scrap there, but Hayden going into the pit lane, I think that's going to be a wide decision. He's going to go for the undercut here, and he's going to try and just make those soft tyres go to maybe go to the end here. And this is Punju trying to go up another position here on the fastest commentator on the F2 series. Of course, TK there in the Trident, making the maybe a couple of races ago, but now feeling the pressure here from Punju. The Dams car side by side contact there with the side pod of the Trident car, and they're going to go into this left-hander side by side. Who's going to have this? Who's going to back off there? I think it's just going to be TK wanting to try and hold on, but unfortunately getting squeezed out there onto the curb, unsettling the car, and now he's going to have to look behind him with JD Delnu there in P7. And we look at the only for the Trident, the ART there, really onto the back here. He's going to go for a move there up the inside. He opts for it, but he's just going to back out here and get that DRS. A little bit of a punt there, a little bit of kiss from the rear of the to the rear of the Trident.
Another few drivers coming in. Rob, race leader, in. Matty 13, second place, in. And Adam Sanderson and TK in as well. Both Tridents are in. They have not strategized this well at all, because we're going to see some queuing in the pits. F1 Alex, Punju and Devil Noob stay out. We've got some jostling for position down into turn 1. But where is Rob going to come out with respect to Hayden Gullis? How good has the outlap been for the Prema drivers? Still side by side, Hoodie Pete and Mikey Skills going down into the tight left-hander. We've seen a lot of contact here, and there's even more, and I wonder if that was initiated by Duncan going into the back of one of the cars there. Certainly some damage flying off one of them. I'm not quite sure who it was. Rob has rejoined comfortably ahead of Hayden, who is right on the back of Matty 13 further down. Hoodie Pete currently holding 5th though, with a penalty looming over his head though. Mike Skills losing a couple of places there.
Yeah, a bit of an interesting couple of corners there for this battle here. Duncan and Hoodie Pete coming to blows there. I think Hoodie Pete just got kind of a little bit squeezed there on the inside of the corner, so just had no choice but to just slam into the side of the other car. He's got a little bit of front wing damage, so he's a bit struggling out there. Zach RC, who is now going on the back of his teammate, slaps the wall there on the right hand side, but go for the move anyway on his MP Motorsport teammate. The two Dutch teammates going at it for the Dutch MP Motorsport team. through the outside there. Zach RC just gets forced out wide, but can he get the run here? Back onto this long back straight. He'll grab that DRS. He's got the slipstream. I think Carbon Shadow knows that. Meanwhile, a little tussle up ahead. I think that is going to be. I think that's going to be JD Devil Noob and Hoodie Pete there. Sorry, it is Duncan and Hoodie Pete. My error.
Yep, absolutely. Mikey still holding on to 6th as the MP Motorsport cars don't swap places. The Invicta car does pull into the pits. Further down there, we've got a big scrap between two former championship protagonists, Matty D13 and Hayden Gullis. The Road and Carlin car holds on to what is 11th on the road, but should be a net 2nd, I think, by the time everyone peels off into the pits. Slipstream, a little bit of DRS, of course. No ERS usage. Taps the back, though, the Road and Carlin car. Misjudges the overspeed slightly, but this should be a fairly regulation move. Around the outside, Matty tries to keep it in there, but eventually has to concede the position. The Prema gets one over the Road and Carlin car, and it is 10th now for Hayden. 3.6 seconds the gap to Rob, though, and yeah, that undercut attempt that he tried hasn't really worked because he hasn't managed to gain the time, courtesy of being caught behind the Road and Carlin car.
No, I think it just hasn't worked there for Gillis. He tried something audacious and it just hasn't come off well there. He needs to try and rely on other cars to really hamper the ART there in P9. So this is going to be very interesting here with Duncan now looking up the inside here of Hoodie Pete, but just cannot go for the move there. Still, Hoodie Pete limping with that front wing damage, and Duncan really just trying something to get it past this red and white Prema car. Red Bull Academy Cape's car, just see if he can maybe go to the left, maybe go to the right, but it's just not working there for Duncan. But maybe the DRS could happen this time around.
Yep, car number 3 attacking car number 7. I think Duncan should get through here. Hoodie Pete struggling with that front wing end plate damage on the right-hand side that we just saw as they went past the shot. Behind the two MP Motorsport cars, still squabbling behind them in 6th and 7th on the road. Into the pits come our top 2. Will Devil Noob follow suit? Yes, they will. And now it is this scrap. Who of these drivers are going to come into the pits? Well, I think Duncan did want to come in, and yes, you could see that there. Hoodie Pete was firmly in the way. Had to check up a little bit, did the Road and Carlin car, to make sure he didn't clatter into the Prema of Hoodie Pete. Fastest lap of the race goes to Rob, who is up into 3rd now. But yeah, that could have been an aeroplane crash if that came to blows.
Yeah, that's pretty dangerous. Then there's
Carbon Shadow's in the wall.
Yeah, he is, and safety car deployed there. Whole front wing gone on the orange and black MP Motorsport car, and that could change the face of the race here. Unfortunately, both of our championship contenders have gone past that start-finish straight, but a couple of drivers may get this opportunity here, such as Jess Gamer and TK already in to freshen up those tyres for the last sprint here towards the finish towards the checker flag. That is Jess Gamer getting his new set of soft compound tyres, so she will now head out down in P16, I believe, because TK is still serving his pit stop. But it'll be interesting to see what these bottom guys can do, because of course they're well off the pace, but they have made a pit stop, and of course there is a race up for grabs. There is 25 points up for grabs here, and one of these drivers will be getting it. Just maybe, will it be one of those guys up at the top, or do you just decide to go with it? I know that Carbon Shadow is going to come into the pit soon, and Hoodie P will having to be defending for his life against Unstopped Rob. So it's going to get pretty close here as we watch Gilligan there in P4 in the high-tech car.
How do you fancy a little spanner in the works with 5 laps to go of the season? A safety car called out, and that is going to bring everyone back together. And well, you know what they say, safety cars breed safety cars, and this could be a very interesting final 5 laps, or well, whenever the safety car peels off into the pits. Who is going to come in? Rob stays out. That's what we've got to mention there. Only 2-lap-old soft compound tyres. The leading duo obviously into the pits, along with Daniel Gilligan, the other driver, yet to come in. Hayden stays out, so we'll assume 2nd place. Will Matty 13 come in? Yes. Probably going to fit a soft compound tyre as well. Adam Sanderson staying out, along with Punju, who has just come in. Penalty for speeding in the pits. F1 Scott was looking so good, especially after qualifying, but yeah, that is probably the end of any chances of a podium for the Dams car. Punju, we've got to shout out Punju here. Obviously, the safety car has very much helped the Dams driver, but last on the grid, up into 4th. But, and there is a big but, medium tyres compared to, well, similarly aged soft tyres for all the drivers around, it's going to be quite the fight on his hands to hold on to those places.
Oh, definitely. Punju is going to be a little bit of a sitting duck, I'd say. That Dams is really in an interesting situation where he's just got to kind of just go with the flow, defend for his life, really to rack up any possible points that he's going to have to try and go for. I think Rob and Hayden is having a little bit of a slowed down tussle there, because I saw them switching places. Kramer was in front of the IoT at some point. So let's have a look down that top 10. It's Rob from Hayden, from Sanderson, from Punju. Then it's going to be F1 Alex, followed by JD Devil Noob there in P6. Then it's going to be the Rodin Carlin of Duncan, followed by Zach RC with Mikey Skills and Daniel Gilligan there in P10. So that is your top 10 there. Matty down in P11 with Hoodie Pete there in P12. A couple of pit stops there, putting them down the order. So very, very interesting to see what these guys are going to be made of as we head towards that final sprint of this Season 5 F2 Creator Series. My goodness, are we in for an absolute thriller?
Well, sprint, I think, is the perfect word. We're going to have a dash to the finish. Rob, of course, is still very much the favourite, with Hayden sat just in behind. I wonder if Hayden will try and just put a marker down to try and win the season finale and say, hey, I was here all season. I've still got it. I'm still very much able to fight Mr. Unstop Rob, who, like you said earlier, has very much been unstoppable at times throughout this season. Of course, following this will be the finale of the F1 season. A lot of drivers still in contention, of course, but yeah, that is going to be fascinating to see how those guys go. And yeah, maybe we'll have a new champion crowned. We'll have to wait and see what happens there. But in the F2, I think we're probably going to have a 3-lap sprint. It's going to be like an old school F1 open lobby 3-lap dash to the finish to decide the championship.
Aren't we all used to those absolute sprint open lobbies? I know a lot of the Creator Series guys do open lobbies, so if you are watching, feel free to be following them on social media and get involved with their open lobbies. It's always fantastic. But there you go, join the conversation. Hashtag F1 Creator Series on Instagram or X. So please do send in your posts, send in your tweets. Please send in an absolute ton of support. It's been absolutely incredible to see once again. But going on to your driver of the, I'm going to say, the weekend. So the driver that's done best throughout this sprint race, one-shot qualifying and feature race. Well, there's a good couple of options, I'd say. But I want to pass it over to you, T-Dub, and just see what are your thoughts on maybe a driver of the day.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Because you've got a lot of different angles that we can look at. Obviously, everybody in the chat as well, get your driver, not just of this feature race, but the driver of this afternoon's action. Get your votes in and see what people have to say. You could give it to Punju with this brilliant drive in the feature race, but had a little bit of a disaster in the first 2 parts. So I don't think I would give it to Punju. I think Adam Sanderson, as we get the notice that we all want that the safety car is in, it will be a 3-lap sprint. At the moment, I'm giving it to Adam Sanderson. Pace has been very, very impressive, and sat currently in the podium position. Can he convert it? We'll have to wait and see if the Trident can step onto the podium to end the season very much on a high. But with 3 laps to go, we're going to have to wait and see. Will it be Rob? Will it be Hayden? We'll just have to wait and find out.
Anything could happen here, my friend. And honestly, safety cars breed safety cars. I'll tell you that for free. So be prepared, because everyone is now backed up right behind each other. There is Rob. There is Gillis. Sanderson in behind, looking for his, I believe, first podium of the F2 Creator Series. And my goodness, is it going to be an absolutely incredible finale here. And we now go racing here for the final time. We go green, green, green here in the F2 Creator Series Saudi Showdown. And already Sanderson is looking here at Hayden Gillis. He's going to have a look down the inside and maybe put a stop here to the Premier title challenge, but not quite. A lot of tussling going into that first corner. 3 abreast, almost 4 abreast. My goodness me. This is absolutely incredible stuff. Still going 3 wide in towards that left-hander. They've just got to keep it nice and steady. Don't hit hit the barriers, guys. Please keep it intact there. But my word, still side by side. Who's that? I think that's Gilligan. Side by side with Patterson there. They're rubbing each other.
Round we go.
Dear, round we go with Patterson. The Yorkshireman was so good throughout this series of races. Unfortunately but there goes Adam Sanderson looking around the outside of the perimeter here, and look on the low side, it's Punju who's come up from last place there. He's looking to try to navigate that podium from Sanderson here through the left-hander and through the right-hander. Good, oh, that's a big snap there from Punju, and F1 Alex are going to try and make amends to that.
Hayden is going to be looking in his mirrors a lot over the last 2.5 laps. Doesn't have the pace of Rob in front, who should be able to cruise to an easy victory. Here comes Adam Sanderson. Will he try and swing it around the outside? He'll be very brave indeed. Thinks better of it, sits behind for the time being. This is like a local karting race, you have to say, with the amount of squabbles going on and the amount of drivers that find themselves side by side. Here we go again. Adam Sanderson going to have another go at trying to get past Hayden to consolidate a spot on the podium. This would be the dagger in the heart for Hayden's championship charge if it wasn't over already. Look at the lunge from F1 Alex, clatters into Hayden Gullis. Adam Sanderson caught up as well as the Van Amstel picks up damage, and I think that might be Duncan as well picking up some front wing damage as well. Punju's now up into second place, albeit it could be very briefly, as here comes Hayden back at the Dams car behind Zach RC, battling away with Hoodie P. Is Devil Nu going to try and find a way up the inside? No, swinging it around the outside goes Hayden. Got more grip on those soft compact tyres. Can Punju try and defend? Not quite. Runs out of road on the outside, but Hayden very respectfully indeed gives the Dams driver some space, but they meet in the middle, and so fortunate to find himself still in the Grand Prix, because that would have been race over if he tapped the wall there for Punju. Somehow still in 4th place. Adam Sanderson's managed to keep it relatively competitive in 5th ahead of Zach RC.
I thought that was completely courteous for Punju. I thought he speared into the wall there. So he's very lucky to get away with that here, as Rob just continues to lead from the front. He's got a 3.5 second gap to his championship rival, and then curtains are almost done here. This is Duncan fighting his Roden Carlin teammate of Matty D there for P8 and P9. So not many points there on the board there overall for the Roden Carlin team, and the points that they're looking to be battling for sure. Oh, there's a very close tap to the wall there for Duncan. I think that's an end play gone for that Roden Carlin. It's F1 Alex gets a 3-second time penalty there for corner cutting. Meanwhile, Zach RC up the inside of Adam Sanderson there, and the Red Bull Caped MP Motorsport car there looking to try and overtake the Trident. I think Sanderson got very affected there by that absolute send and a half from F1 Alex last time round here, but this is Punju now looking around the outside of JD Devil Nu. The podium spots are now really on offer here as we head on to this final lap here of Season 5 F2 Creator Series.
Final lap of the season. Rob almost 4 seconds clear. Nice little microcosm for the season, but we could be 3 wide down into turn 1. Those medium tyres looking very nice and tidy for Punju. A little bit too late on the brakes. Goes Devil Noob off the road. Goes Devil Noob. Picks up a penalty for his troubles as well. That's going to be the podium charge. Absolutely scuppered for the second ART driver. Somehow Hayden is holding on to second place. Clearly doesn't have the pace right now. F1 Alex has retired. I think that's in the pits. Disaster for the Van Amersfoort cars. Having a little look is Punju trying to get onto the podium. He'll get it at the moment. Another penalty for Devil Noob for corner cutting and gaining an advantage. That would be 10 seconds if it was the real life F1 season. Thankfully for him, only 5 seconds in the game at the moment. 4 seconds still the margin out in front. Hayden, Devil Noob will drop down Punju. Adam Sanderson still trying to get back on the podium, trying to recover from that blunder that he got caught up in earlier on. Little look to the inside from Punju, but stays behind Devil Noob for the time being.
Yeah, really unfortunate there. Hayden's still going at it, still defending here from JD Devil Noob, and I think he will be still. I don't think he would like to let past that ART, even with the penalty involved. It just leaves him a little bit vulnerable there to Punju in behind. This battle is absolutely raging on like a pack of bulls here. Hayden now how to defend here, because look at Devil Noob there on the outside line here. Yellow in sector 2. I'm not entirely sure who that's for, but it looks like Hayden is going to just be trying to stick in front here as they all approach here this final section along this long back stretch there. There is Devil Noob just trying to do something. Sanderson on Punju as well. They head their way through the final corner, and Hayden just defends his way on the. We now see Rob coming across the line. Unstopped Rob is unstoppable. He is F2 champion here for the F2 Creator Series. Across the line, it's going to be Hayden. Going to just holding on there, but I think actually that may have been Devil Noob, but the penalty has come costly. That was a really good setup there by the AR team. Hayden second, Punju third, Sanderson equals his best finish in the F2 Create Series with another fourth place. It's not quite the podium, but another good result there. But my goodness, what an end to the season this has been. Matty D there in fifth. Zach RC, who was not feeling confident before heading into the race, got very, very little practice, but a sixth place is something to be very, very proud of.
Absolutely. Carnage over the line. We were 3 wide. Look at Devil Noob, though, dropping down to 14th when he crossed the line in second. That is how critical the penalty was, and that is how close everybody was over the line. But out in front, as he was for the majority of the season, especially in the feature races, he was unstoppable. It was Rob, and he is your champion of the inaugural F2 Creator Series.
Absolutely incredible scenes there. And there are the podium celebrations. Championship is over, and it's going to be Unstop Rob on the top step of the podium and top step of the championship standings for the drivers. What an absolute incredible season. The inaugural F2 Creator Series. And my word, what an incredible incredible race. There is your results over the course of the standings there. That is for the entire weekend. But my word, what an incredible incredible race we've had, my friend.
Brilliant, brilliant action from start to finish this afternoon. Rob takes the championship and a dominant victory in the end by nearly 4 seconds. Hayden by half a tenth ahead of Punju. What a recovery drive from last on the grid. Third in a podium. Brilliant stuff from the Dams driver. Adam Sanderson, brilliant as well. Could have easily been on the podium had it not been for that little tete-a-tete we saw going into the final corner. Matt D13 recovered nicely from that stop under the safety car. Zach RC, Duncan, Carbon Shadow, Hoodie Pete and Mikey Slicks rounding out the top 10. Daniel Gilligan just missing out. TK will be a little bit disappointed to come home only in 12th. Jess Gamer and Devil Noob with that huge penalty. 13 seconds in the end. That was incredibly costly. Then it was Patterson, F1 Scott, F1 Alex and Go Swish all towards the back. Disappointing day for the Van Amersfoort cars as it was for F1 Scott, who showed some really good pace from third on the grid but couldn't capitalise on it. Wow, that's season done. And it was hugely, hugely exciting. A pleasure to be a part of. We will, of course, speak to our champion if we possibly can, and maybe the runner-up Hayden as well. But yeah, that was incredible. We've got to talk about it because we spoke about it earlier. Who is your driver of the weekend, not just the feature race?
Well, it's difficult to look over Unstop Rob. Of course, he's absolutely on it the whole weekend. Won the sprint, won that feature race, put it on pole. He didn't even need to put it on pole. He just needed to put in a decent lap, and it just so happened that it was the fastest lap. He qualified to put him on prime position for the win. But I also want to give a big shout out to Adam Sanderson. My goodness me, he's been improving race after race after race, and yeah, he's really proved his worth in the F2 Creator Series, and almost went for that podium, but just a couple of things just out of his control, which couldn't do something. I'm sure he'll be happy, but also you got that kind of frustrated feeling. So you really get that as a racing driver, but yeah, I'm sure he can walk away from Saudi Arabia happy as can be.
Yeah. And the form we've seen from him over the last few weeks, certainly a shout for a potential playoff spot next season, if of course Adam Sanderson is returning. But yeah, a brilliant season. Roller coaster is a bit of a cliche, but it was certainly a roller coaster at times. We thought Rob was going to steal it by miles away, but in the end came through to take it pretty comfortably in the finale. I think with our top 3 for our interviews, I think would you like to start with Punju, third place? I think we've got a lot that we can talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So Punju, just bringing in Punju there. So Punju, what an absolute brilliant race you've had, especially for that second feature race. But I want to take your mind back to the incident in the sprint race, because you had a little bit of a DNF there.
No, I don't want to take my mind back. That was brutal. Oh yeah, it was a tough spot. I think two people collide on the right side of the track, and I think rightfully so. I probably expected them to just like stay put, but then one person started backing up. I don't know if they were getting punted into, if they hit the reverse button, but I just clipped that right front and it was done for. And yeah, nothing I can do. It was a tough one, very tough one.
Yeah, but then you had that qualifying session, that one shot, but that didn't go quite as well either.
Nope.
So I'll kind of go over that as well. So I've got to let you kind of avoid that question. But let's talk about your kind of. I can hear you laughing, but let's move on to that.
Yeah.
Let's move on to your comeback through the field. That was absolutely sublime.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it was definitely tough to execute that one. They made it about as tough as possible. Everybody was going elbows out, giving it everything they possibly could, and I loved that hardcore racing. Like it was exceptionally fun. So yeah, it was fun to go and go put it into a good result. I almost grabbed second place. It was down to 600ths of a second to Hayden. Would have been my best finish. But I'll take last to third and driver of the day. I'll take that any day. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Absolutely, and I want to talk about that last act, because my goodness me, from the virtual commentary box here, that was hectic as ever. Let's get your view on that.
It was. Yeah, it was. Hectic is a great way of putting it. I mean, I saw obviously. I can't remember who it was that was in front of me that had all the penalties. It was JD. JD in front of me had all the penalties, and I was like, okay, I should be able to get him, no problem. I think he was going to let me through, but he never let me through. I was like, oh shoot! So I actually got to scrap my way through this one. So I just kind of decided, like, I'm just going to focus on exits. I'll compromise my entries a little bit here and there just so I can really nail exits, because I don't want to catch up to them mid-corner. I only want to catch up to them the edge of the corner. And so I kind of changed up my driving lanes a little bit, and it started to work, especially going into the fast left-hander after the second DRS straight. Was it turn 22, I think it is. I saw JD pull out to the right to make like a potential move on the outside. I was like, oh, done. And then I turn in for it, but I compromised my entry too much. And I tapped the wall, and then it started catching up to me. I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be really scrappy in the final corner. Barely held him off. Barely. It was great. It was really fun.
Oh, absolutely magical stuff there. T-Dub, is there anything you want to add on?
I've just got to commend you on that final stint, because your pace on the medium tyres, we thought that you might struggle to hold on to those places. If anything, you were more on the offensive trying to go forward. Did you feel like you were at a disadvantage for the tyres? Because it certainly didn't look like it.
Not at all. I honestly knew my soft medium pace are dang near identical. I told myself when I came into this race, I just literally said to myself, I am faster than everybody but Rob, plain and simple. And so, if I can capitalize on the spots where I have to capitalize, I could do well. And on the soft, I was faster than everybody by a massive margin. And on the mediums, I was just even pace, effectively slightly better on a few people. And some people definitely did have me beat as well. And then from there, it was like, all right, let's just take that advantage, what I know I can do, give myself tons of positive self-talk, and go and rip it and attack. Because I was like, dude, I can't finish this without a podium. Are you kidding me? I'm going last. I have to get a podium. And it worked.
I mean, that soft stint at the start was exceptional. I mean, you found yourself in the lead at one point, which we were both absolutely staggered that you managed to fight your way through the field so quickly. But yeah, excellent stuff. Got to ask you about the playoffs, though, because you, of course, are going to be part of those. How are you feeling for those coming up?
I feel exceptional. I love this format of the F2, F1 swappy wappies. I think it's so cool. It's going to throw everybody off kilter. All these people that are coming, from F1, they don't practice F2 much. And so those rounds are going to be my, grab some points. I know how to overtake F2 really well, as we've obviously seen. I know that's one of my strong suits, is how to back out of an entry to nail an exit. I really like the way F2s feel. And so I find those, if they're reverse grid every single time we go to an F2, I think those are the spots that I have the chance to make up positions and get points on those two F2 rounds. And then it's just a matter of capitalizing on one of the three F3 rounds. I think I'm safe in the top 5.
Good stuff. Well, thank you very much for talking to us. It's been a pleasure to watch what you've been doing this season, and it hasn't been short of exciting, I have to say that. So good stuff, and we wish you the best of luck for the playoffs.
Of course, and also remember WRC tomorrow too. Epic New Creative Series as well. It'll be a blast.
Absolutely.
All right, guys, you guys are amazing. Thank you, y'all.
Thank you very much.
We'll see ya.
So, third place is done. we will bring in the runner-up, Hayden. Well, it'll be interesting to see what he has to say, but yeah, wasn't quite to be in the end. Hayden just falling short, but I don't think the pace was quite there, was it, to take the title?
No, first of all, I want to say congratulations to Rob. Absolutely brilliant season. It's been a pleasure to share the track for him this season and have that championship battle. Really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it all the way down to the wire. But yeah, pace. I think Rob really was just like the same as what he was in China at the start of the season. China, I remember, he just blitzed the field. And then since then, he's kind of been, you know, in that front mix. But then this weekend, again, his pace was incredible. I tried my best. Got caught up in a few scrapes, is what it is.
Were you expecting him to have that sizable advantage coming into the weekend?
I was hoping he wouldn't. In terms of expecting, I mean, some tracks he's good, some tracks he's amazing. It's never really bad. But yeah, I mean, I was hoping for like a little bit of less pace, maybe be a bit closer. But yeah, it's good to see from him that there's some really good pace here in the F2 series, and it's going to be interesting to see how he takes on F1 next season. But yeah, for me now it's playoffs. It'll be fun.
And obviously we've got to touch on your season. The momentum going into the finale certainly was with yourself. 3 race wins on the bounce. You seem to work it out as you went along. Started pretty solidly and then just really became a constant threat for Rob, but sort of ran out of races towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, for me it's, you know, we both missed one race, so I can't really say it's the race that I missed, but for me it's Monza. Monza was just, I learned a lot in that race, and that's probably why I then went on to be really, really, you know, successful in the races after that. Monza, I think I scored a total of 6 points. Yeah, 6 points in total across both races. And then after that, it was second win-win in the features. But yeah, I learned a lot from that, not to go to the back, not to get caught up in that mayhem back there. But yeah, that's where I've got to put it down to at the end of the day, because consistent across the whole season, first or seconds across every race, bar Monza. So sadly, that was the one that got away.
Adam?
I'll just go on to kind of like, I want to talk about your mindset, because of course the sprint was a bit of a difficult one. Of course, Rob did get ahead of you, so I just wanted to see where your mindset was after that.
Head was gone, definitely seeing red, because there was a little bit of contact, but I watched it back on his stream and it wasn't like a purposeful. It felt more like a big send into my side pod, but he was just trying to overtake Adam, made a mistake. Fair enough, we all make mistakes, and yeah, just a little bit of contact there between the two of us, and then I got really lucky at the start of the sprint with that huge crash to go from last to, like, I think it was 8th or whatever it was, which was incredible. And then I think I used up all my luck on that start-finish straight, because then after that, people were spinning in front of me. I was getting nudged in the back and spun round. And, you know, at the end of that race, I was driving with no front wing pretty much for the last 3 laps, which was a bit more difficult. So the mindset was tough then to get myself back into it. But then I was like 23 points off. I knew it was going to take a miracle. So I was just trying to have a bit more fun with it and just try and, you know, try these different avenues. I boxed really early to see what could happen. Maybe undercut and just get in front of Rob and then try and hold him up. And then was just trying to play with him as well under formation lap and safety cars, just driving alongside him, just to see if maybe he'd crumble. Maybe I'd get inside his head a little bit, but he's been rock solid all season. So fair play to him.
Yeah, we were talking about, personally, I was talking about how kind of a picture that would actually make, but I want to talk about, there was a collision on the main straight at one point that you just got involved in. We didn't quite see it, but what did that come across from your point of view?
I need to watch it back from both drivers' POVs. I'm not too sure what really happened between JD and Patterson, but both of them kind of tangled on the left-hand side of the pit straight, and then all of a sudden they bounced off the wall to the left, bounced off the wall to the right, and it was just unfortunate. I was trying to pick my way through. First of all, I was like, okay, cool, I'll go right, and then they shot over to the right, so I went left, and I just tagged them a little bit with my front wing, and at that point, it was pretty much gone. So it was full defense mode, but so difficult around here. You've got so many corners, so it's just a shame. But, you know, we've had luck. You have bad luck in this F2 series. Still managed to have a really strong result, so I'll take it.
Yeah, and now you're into the playoffs. You're confirmed, so you're just going to have a bit of a break and then maybe reset yourselves.
Yeah, well, not too much of a break. Back again next week. Playoffs go straight away. And I'm looking forward to it. New format. Going to be good fun. Going to be good to race with those F1 guys as well. It's looking pretty much confirmed with the F1, unless they perform miracles today in their race. But it's going to be good to go wheel to wheel with Taco. He's always a great driver to go wheel to wheel with. Very, very clean. Good to see what Dale can do in shorter races. And Ches and Curves be good to go wheel to wheel with those guys as well. Dirk Chocolate. I hear that he might be missing it. So if I do get that promotion, woohoo, that Red Bull seat's mine, baby. I'm taking it. I told you. We're taking Dirk Chocolate's Red Bull seat.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be a massive to see you up there. I think you're gonna get a little bit of a little bit of a boost, maybe a bit of preparation from your good friend Joe.
I'll drop him a message. Yeah, I'll be like, come on, man, come support me in the chat. No, I'm sure he's very, very busy prepping for Australia now after 2 races to start off the season. But we'll go for it. We'll push hard. Having runner-up in the F2 series definitely has a bit of form in my name and puts me in a positive mood going into it still, rather than those guys coming down. So it's gonna be tough. They've still got incredible pace, and they're obviously going to be faster in those F1 cars, but we're going to have the advantage in the F2 cars. So it's going to make it very close, very exciting, and I, for one, can't wait.
Yeah, thank you very much. D-Dub, is there anything you want to kind of add on, or is that it for you?
No, I think echoing the same thing. Really looking forward to seeing how the dynamic of the playoffs work, with it going back and forth, with certain people having advantages in some areas and then vice versa the other way. I think it's going to be really, really fun to watch. So yeah, wish you the best of luck for it.
Thank you very much. Before I go, shout out to all you guys in the commentary box and on the producer roles. Absolutely smashed another season. Without you guys, it wouldn't be possible. So I just want to say thank you to all the guys and everyone in F2, because this was a roll of the dice. This was an idea that I just wanted to throw out there to give those guys opportunities, and each and every one of them has absolutely smashed it in this F2 series. It's been thoroughly entertaining. So I want to shout out everybody involved. It's been brilliant. And we go again 30th of March. F2's back. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely, and it's been a pleasure to watch as well. So thank you very much for talking to us, and yeah, we wish you luck next week.
Thank you very much, guys. Thank you.
Now, I think this is the moment that everyone has been waiting for. Unstopped Rob has been crowned champion, and finally we get to talk to the champion of the F2 Creator Series, and we can see what he has to say. Rob, first of all, congratulations. There were certain points in the season where it looked like it might be slipping away, but you returned very much to form in the finale with a dominant display to take the title in style.
Yeah, I mean it was one first thanks, sorry, but it was a big target for me this season when I saw that I was capable of dominating, you know. So my main target was to at least win the sprint, get the pole, and win the feature, and be the first one to do that. Unfortunately, Aiden did it before me, like the last week, I think. Unfortunately, I'm missing one fastest lap in the sprint today. But yeah, it was really cool. I was a bit stressing before, but a good pressure. You know, I got the pressure, but the good pressure, the adrenaline that you get just before a race, and all the things that happened with Aidon. Of course, there is nothing between us. I'm really enjoying our fight through the season. But yeah, it was tough. It was not that easy that you think, to be honest, because there is always the pressure that someone can catch you. But I really enjoyed this season and really look forward to go to F1.
Absolutely, and I think we'll start with the feature races this season because, well, you've been the master of it. Obviously, you missed one race, so it was 8 races, but 5 feature race victories plus 2 second places. I mean, that is an exceptional record. Yeah,
I mean, it's not. I was about to say it's quite surprising considering that I'm not really someone who is doing great qualification. I'm not that kind of drivers. So obviously, I was more thinking about starting P4, P5s most of the time, but I get the good strategy. I have my chat also, my Twitch chat, who is helping me on the strat, and we can just interact together and get the good strategy. Everyone, because of course it's the creator series, so everyone is streaming, so we can get some information from the other stream, and so the chat is helping me. So maybe it's one of the cause that I can gain like 5 features. You said, so yeah, and I'm a race driver. I say that to my stream every time. I'm really not good in quali, but I'm always thinking about long-term way, and most of the time in the race it's really useful because you can anticipate what the others are doing in terms of strategy, but also in terms of overtaking and etc. So yeah, I'm quite surprised that I dominated like this, to be honest, but it was really really good to see that, obviously, and I had some good fight too, even if I dominated a bit.
In terms of this afternoon, obviously at the very start of the sprint race we saw a massive accident off the line. I think you were obviously able to see maybe what happened there. Can you update us on what you saw?
I didn't. My eyes were focused on Aidon, so I saw Aidon go jumping from P17 to P8, obviously. But yeah, I saw that someone. I think probably someone didn't start really well, and then the guy behind just didn't saw him. But I was stuck on the right, so I wasn't able to overtake anyone because then the virtual safety car came out, and then the safety car. So I was just stuck in the sprint, and to be honest, when I was like P15 and I saw Aidon P18, I was like, oh, that's definitely not a good start for the race and for the championship fight. But yeah, I managed to finally come back to Aidon. I think he had some good fight. I was a bit nervous as well following Bahrain incidents. I don't know. I don't know if I was like you know, a poster with a wanted just above my head, but some people were really really aggressive with me. It's part of the game, of course. I'm not complaining about that. But yeah, I was a bit nervous and I was trying to be as calm as possible and to avoid any incident as I did in Bahrain.
Well, that pace in the sprint race, once you bolted on those soft tyres, you're able to side the way through the field really well, and that was also another part of your arsenal really that was very successful this season. You managed to get your way through the field in those sprint races very very quickly. What was the thinking behind that? How were you able to do that so successfully?
Well, that's why I was saying just before. I think I'm more I'm better in race because I'm always thinking in a long-term way. You know, if someone is ahead of me, I'm not gonna think like I need to overtake him right now. No, I'm gonna think if I'm overtaking him right now, is it gonna help me for the future in the next few laps, or it's gonna put me in a bad position for the DRS train and all this stuff. The racecraft is really really important, and I think I'm not that bad on this. But yeah, and of course it was really difficult to go through the field because the pace were really 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 different, to be honest, without being harsh with anyone. But of course when I'm probably and with Aidon we are like 3 or 2 seconds faster than someone who is at the front. It's obviously more difficult to get through. But yeah, I mean I managed it, and most of the time I was doing like Verstappen did in Monaco when he started F1, like waiting someone opening the door and then going inside, and then I can take less risk and going through easily.
Absolutely. Adam, the feature race as well was incredibly impressive also.
Yeah, definitely. First of all, congratulations, Rob. That is an incredible performance there around this incredibly tight circuit. What was it what was it like driving around this circuit? I know it's like incredibly tough.
Well, to be honest, I really like Jeddah. Like it's really close to the walls, and you need to. And the driving style in Jeddah in F2, I don't know if in F1 really, but in F2 is really really different compared to the other track. Because most of the time in the other track I was braking and going and downshifting, and this time in Jeddah was more like braking, going to the apex, and then the downshifting, and it's helping me a lot to make the car rotating. The rear was more rotating than the front, and it was really really helping me, especially in the first sector. That's where I make the gap with Aidon in the feature race, because on the restart, by the way, my 2 restarts were really really good. Not gonna lie, I was really happy about that. But yeah, on the first sector, I was managing to do this gap, this 1 second gap to avoid the DRS train behind me, and yeah, I really really enjoyed Jeddah in F2. So I hope I will enjoy it in F1 if one day we're redoing it with Mr. GP or the fan pod eventually.
Yeah. I want to go on to qualifying, because here in the virtual commentary box we're kind of talking about how your approach would be to qualifying, because we were just saying you kind of just need to get that lap, and it just turned out that lap was that you put in was fastest of all. what was the kind of your mindset going into that qualifying lap?
For the first time, I was just thinking about pushing and pushing and pushing. I was not thinking about putting a lap because I practice it a lot. And to be honest, my time trial lap times were the lap time that I was doing in GP mode when I was practicing in solo, and it was 40.6. So I was 6 tenths slower, but it's in multiplayer, so obviously it's normal. But I was just pushing, and I wanted to. I didn't want to put just a lap to put a lap, even if I had the 23 points gap before the feature. I wanted to play the battle normally and race as I would race if there is no fight in the championship, because obviously if I'm here I want to win everything possible. So I just push in quali, and for one of the I don't know, no, it's not the first time I'm doing the pole, but I really enjoyed the lap, and I think I finished 3 tenths ahead, which is really big for me because I'm not used to do some good lap in quali. So.
In fact, that fast lap was actually almost 4 tenths faster than Hayden, so that was massively incredible. But I kind of want to go on to just one more question before I talk about, of course, your promotion to Formula One. And there was that you had a rough time around about Austria, and then of course you had to miss Portugal. So was there a little bit of a kind of nerve going into that? And of course you had coming back into Bahrain quite unprepared.
Yes, I mean that's what we saw in Bahrain. I mean the nerves are really high, but not only for me. I think for everyone. I was nervous because in Austria, and it's the round where Aiden was not there, and I needed to put some really big points, which I didn't do. And Portimao wasn't there, and Aiden just put the maximum point that he can. So coming in Bahrain with I think it was 26 points gap, something like that. I was like, okay, gap is still like more than 1 win, so I'm fine. But I think in Bahrain, and the main incident with Aiden was the case, I just played with my ego, and I didn't play with my racecraft that I used to do, and that's why we had an incident. Even if I think that it's probably a bit more 50-50 than Aiden fully responsible or me fully responsible. But yeah, it was really difficult in Bahrain, and coming here in Jeddah today, I was like, okay, you are ahead, you have everything to lose, so just be calm and try to maximize the points.
And you've definitely done that to absolute perfection. So I just want to give a massive credit. But onto your journey in Formula One, is that how excited are you for that? I think that's going to be absolutely incredible to see.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm really enjoying F1. Like I think we saw it last week in it wasn't Imola, it was Bahrain, sorry, in F1 where I did P5. I really enjoy it. I'm not driving a lot on the F1 game except for the Creator Series, but now that I'm in F1, I'm gonna practice a bit more because the competition is a bit tough. But yeah, I don't know where I'm gonna be in terms of teams. I'm open to everything. But yeah, I just want to race again and again. I know that there is a little break now because there is the playoff next week. So I'm a bit impatient, but yeah, I'm looking forward to do that. I would have loved to race tonight in Jeddah, but unfortunately there is no places for me tonight. So I will wait the next round, the new season, and to show what I'm capable of in F1. I hope.
That's going to be absolutely brilliant. I was kind of having a think about how you said about F1 teams you could possibly go to, because of course I know that you're French, you're from Amiens, so maybe it may be a bit of Alpine, maybe that would be on the card.
I mean, why not? I mean, but I know that Alpine is more with Tomb, so if Tomb want to welcome me, why not? But I mean, I'm not close to anything. Like I raced with the AS in the last few races, so to be honest, I'm fine with only driving an F1, and it doesn't matter for me which car it is.
Yeah, that's absolutely brilliant. So I really, personally, and I'm sure a lot of people are really looking forward to seeing you in F1, and I'm sure a lot of your guys in chat are very much really looking forward to that as well, just seeing a Formula 1 car instead of an ART F2 car. But I want to throw it over to T-Dub just see if there's anything else that you kind of want to say.
Yeah, just from me, if you were to pick one highlight of the season, what would you go for?
Oh, that's a good question. Uh, I think Jeddah today. I think, to be honest, because like I did the sprint, the pole, and the feature, and my pace was really cool, and I was calm. I think if I had my Apple Watch with the BPM like I don't have, I would probably be around 100 and not more than that because I was managing my stress and all the pressure. So yeah, I think Jeddah was probably the best highlights of my season, definitely.
It was very, very impressive, as was the whole season. Thank you very much for talking to us. Obviously, again, huge congratulations on your championship win, and we wish you the best of luck for your future in the F1 series.
Thank you guys, and thank you again for all the work around the F2 season. It was great to watch. I know that my stream enjoyed watching it. Thanks for the show on the stream, the commentary, and all the work put around behind the scene. Thanks again. Good luck for the next season, then again in F2. And I hope you will follow my journey in F1 because I think we can definitely do something. So thank you again, and enjoy the F1 race for the community and the chat.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And
thank you. Bye bye, guys.
Thanks so much for talking to us. Well, that is pretty much us done. It has been an absolutely incredible season. Unstopped Rob in the end was unstoppable and took the title with an imperious display in Saudi Arabia. Thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for watching and joining whatever platform you're watching on. It's been a pleasure to have everybody in the chat and interacting with all the various social medias that we've got. And of course, it has been a pleasure to commentate on. Adam, do you just want to give us a little bit of a nudge in the direction of WRC Club, which is starting tomorrow?
Absolutely, thank you, because we do have our WRC club, and we do have some very fantastic drivers that are signed up for that, and it is starting at tomorrow, 7:15 p.m. Mark that in your calendars, because yeah, it's going to be an absolute barnstorm, and of course, rally is, well, incredible, an absolute spectacle to see cars starting through trees at 90, 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. It's absolutely incredible. You've definitely got to go and watch some clips before coming here tomorrow at 7:15 p.m. to watch the the Crate Series WRC Club. So that is going to be absolutely fantastic watch. I might have to watch a couple minutes before my my commentary tomorrow at 8 p.m. So I'll have to be maybe tuning in to chat for a couple minutes.
Certainly. It's unlike anything else, isn't it? An incredible series. And I think everybody will definitely enjoy it. But to round us off, what are your thoughts on the season? Sum it up for us.
Well, it's been absolutely incredible. Of course, F2 is one of those series that you get a lot of chaos. You really have to kind of like focus on what the car is doing. It's not like F1 where you can just turn into a corner. It just sticks all the time. You have to really like know what you're doing. And some of these guys up at the top end, like Rob, like Eden and Matty and F1 Alex, have done an absolutely fantastic job in being able to do that. Of course, there were a couple of instances for some of the top guys, especially like we saw in Bahrain. Of course, that's going to happen. And we just sometimes love to have a little bit of fun in the F1 Crate Series. It's not all that serious. It's not F1 esports level, but it is just something we really enjoy. And just bringing this kind of format of everyone being able to watch their favorite creators race on the F1 game, and it's just absolutely really nice to watch. I know a couple of one of my friends is watching it. He said it's really nice to lay back and to watch before he hops in the car and drives an F4 car for the season. So he's really enjoying that. But yeah, it's going to be Unstoppable Rob, who is well, of course, unstoppable, and yeah, he's going to be an absolute asset to the Formula One Creator Series. I think he's going to be really nice. But yeah, season 5, what a season! But let's make it better in season 6. Honestly, I'm all for that.
Absolutely. It's been fantastic, but well, let's move back from the future of F2 and obviously WRC, because coming up is what everyone's been waiting for as well. It is the finale of the F1 season. We will leave you guys with a short intermission before go live again with the finale of season number 5 and of season number 6. Sorry, and yeah, it is going to be quite the title battle. We'll see you then from myself, Tom, and from Adam. It's been an absolute pleasure for the whole season, and yeah, we hope to see you guys at some point in the future when F2 returns in a couple of weeks' time.